his mother called me and said that he had a change of heart with Abbey and he wanted to take a break from the relationship. And then the mother proceeded to say, after I was just shocked, she said, my son should be able to have a conversation with his girlfriend, and Abbey can't do that.
Ouch. Welcome back to another episode of Talk to Me, Sis. It's been, hey, girl. It's been a couple weeks.
Yep.
And Nicci, I thought we could just jump right in this week with our plot twist of the week. So, I'm just dying to hear yours and see where you're at.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we are so excited to be back, and thank you to everybody out there who's been listening as we've kicked back off with a new season. We're super excited to see all the people tuning in. But
just on that, Nicci,
Yeah.
I've been getting so many DMs, text, people just saying it looks so much better. It's great.
Yes.
So thank you guys for your patience. Thanks for waiting for us, and
Yes.
and welcome again to the new people, because we really cared that we were putting out the best product, and now we feel like we are. So thanks for the feedback.
Exactly. And shout out to the new production. Yay. Thank you for everything. Yeah, Pioneer. Oh my goodness. So yes, it's so much better, and we're so excited to have an improved show to be bringing to everybody. All right. So this isn't really a funny or anything that's too outrageous, but to me, it was kind of a plot twist. It's a life plot twist. So Tanner and I have been doing a ton of public speaking events, even more this year than last year. It's kind of becoming quite a thing. And we were in Shelby, North Carolina on Saturday night at North Shelby School. And this school is doing amazing things for the disability community. We were just walking around with our mouths dropped, like they are the most precious people serving their community selflessly and tirelessly. Just, they take such good care of their students. Their facility's beautiful. They have an equine program. And we were there. It was their annual kind of like celebratory night of ending the year. Tanner and I were the keynote speakers. It was a very nice dinner and sort of an open house.
Wait, and you didn't choke? No choking?
No, I did not choke this time. There was no medical
no
emergencies.
Fried rice. Okay.
No fried rice, thank God.
Okay.
I did tell Tanner to
checking.
cut his beef tenderloin into small bites and chew thoroughly. I did. Because I was
Choking
worried about
PTSD. Yeah.
either of us choking.
Yeah.
So we get there. We're there before the event starts, about 30 minutes. And I don't know why little moments like this always strike me, but they do. And I'm like in my head, like take a picture of this in your mind. Like don't ever forget how this looked. So it was a Western theme. So Tanner had on his cowboy hat and boots. And we always love like breaking back out all the Western wear from last year's events. And I had on a little denim dress. We were kind of trying to be with the theme. And I started immediately like talking to people and setting our stuff down and kind of just figuring out the lay of the land. And Tanner, just without anyone telling him to and without being prompted, he just kind of parked himself by the door to the gym, 150 guests coming in. And he just, without anyone giving him any direction, just started saying, "Hey, I'm Tanner. What's your name? Hey, I'm Tanner. I'm so glad
greeting people.
Greeting. Like literally made his own receiving line.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is the child that we worked for a year on Look at Me. Like we worked for a year on getting him to make eye contact and
taking himself to the door to welcome in 150 guests.
150 people with no nerves, no self-confidence issues, no being self-conscious, just genuinely curious and wanting to meet people and glad to be there. And I was like, those are those moments as a special needs mom where you're like, okay, right now, this moment, I'm witnessing the miracle that we prayed for 20-something years ago.
That, Nicci, and all the hard work.
All the hard
work
that
you and your family and your team and therapists.
The therapist, yes. My gosh. It was just, I don't know. It just like, I feel like I see things like that very clearly. Like when those moments happen, it just like strikes me. Okay, this is one of those moments, like mark it in your brain, save it. Because you never thought you would see this. And he was just doing such a beautiful job and making everyone feel seen and making people laugh and being warm and welcoming. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's my child with a diagnosis, literally handling the receiving line by himself.
I want to always take a moment when we can, Nicci, to point out to parents, caregivers, whoever, grandparents, take note, Tanner's 27 and a half.
Yep. And a half.
Pushing 28. And this is a new behavior that Nicci's enjoying. So
exactly.
guys,
it took a long time.
And I think it's a takeaway for something a doctor told me early on with Connor when I panicked about losing years of intervention. The brain is not a cooked egg. It's beautiful and it can constantly lay down these pathways and light up. And I just think, look at these experiences. So here at 27 and a half, listeners, Nicci is witnessing a new skill bloom in front of her and it's only growing. So every day can be a new, so don't give up.
Yes, I love that, Lisa. That was such a great way to put it. And yes, and the work eventually, it takes a long time and it takes a lot of persistence and a lot of patience, but eventually it does all come full circle.
What's the saying, Nicci?
Really
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That is for sure.
I'm so impatient. I hate when people come at me. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So here I am. I'm being the person I don't like to hear, but it's so true.
So true. So true. So that was my plot twist, watching my child who formerly we wondered if he would ever make eye contact, form single independent receiving lines. But what was yours?
Well, mine is always just, I don't know. I'm a magnet for just wackiness, I guess. Maybe that's just it. I mean, I love yours. Yours is great. Long story short, we're going to pop up a little picture here in a minute. I bought this outfit this is not, sponsored or anything. I bought this outfit online. To me, it looked like a comfortable, cute, casual way to travel. It was a jumpsuit. I'm the CEO of jumpsuits. I love them. And it just looked cute. It was navy. It had a little collar. Cute. I felt like I could still look nice, but comfortable. So I wear it. And if you see in the picture, it's got a little white collar. It's navy. It's got some stripes. It looked sporty to me. I thought it was like sporty. So we're sitting at the international terminal on Saturday night. Just Connor and I were having dinner at a bar right in front of our gate. And this gentleman comes up next to me and starts up a conversation. He's really lovely. At first I was like, is this guy like hitting on me? But he wasn't. The bartender had recognized Connor and I from the show. Okay. So every time the bartender got a break, he came over and chatted. So this guy was trying to order 2 beers to go.
Right. Okay.
And the bartender was saying, hey, you can't take the beer away from this area. So the bartender's asking us about the show. So the guy next to me with the beer says, wait, what are you guys talking about? And he's like, well, they're on a Netflix show, Love on the Spectrum.
Right.
And the man who's lovely, his name is Storm. He was like, my wife loves that show. I've never seen it. And I was like, that's great.
Oh, okay.
So he runs and gets his wife, who I guess was with the 2 kids that were like 9 and 12 at the gate. And he grabs her and he says, oh my gosh, Connor from Love on the Spectrum is in the bar. And he knew his wife was a fan. So she comes racing into the bar with them. They were so cute. They were from Indiana, I believe. There was Storm and Tessa.
Good old Midwesterners.
Very sweet people. And she came in and she was like, oh my gosh, took pictures. She said, my husband came running over and said, Connor from Love on the Spectrum is at the bar with his mom. And she's a flight attendant. And she goes, the wife has watched the show and she's like, no, she's not. And he goes, yes, she is. She's in her uniform. So she came over laughing and I was just in my jumpsuit.
And
so
you
guys,
were like, cute in your jumpsuit. Oh,
I don't know that I ever want to wear that friggin' thing on a plane again. I'm like, so I was like, check the seat pocket in front of you, your safety card. Like, what? Anyways,
exactly.
Stupid,
put your own mask on first.
Just me trying to be cool, buying comfy athleisure, and I now look like an airline employee.
Well, let's chalk that up to a lot of men really don't have a great perception of fashion. Let's chalk it up to him, not to you.
So your plot twist is a lot more heartwarming and meaningful than my stupid,
well, if you were a flight attendant, you'd be a cute one. So
like here. What is it? There you go.
That's so funny. Well, the plot twists are great. I'm looking forward to seeing what crazy things happen in our lives before the next episode. But moving on to the main point of our episode today, we are beyond thrilled to be welcoming for the second time the fabulous Christine Romeo, mom to Abbey Romeo from Love on the Spectrum seasons 1 through 3, and also cameo on season 4. Christine is not only an incredible mother an advocate and trailblazer in the autism community. She has become a dear friend, advisor, and confidant through the very unusual experience of guiding an adult child through an unexpected life experience like the three of us have had with Love on the Spectrum. But Christine is one of the smartest, kindest, coolest ladies that I know.
Welcome,
So
Christine.
we are thrilled. Yes.
The OG mom.
Exactly.
You are the
Thank
OG,
you so much
Christine.
for having me come back. I really appreciate it. Love you both. We share.
How do you like our new looks? You like our new digs?
Everything is amazing. You guys are so 5-star. I'm intimidated.
Stop. Wait, rumor has it somebody's hands look beautiful,
Yeah,
Christine.
let's see those nails, Christine. Oh, girl.
Listen, I have a nail story that I want to share for all the moms out there who have younger kids. There's a story behind the nail. Abbey was probably about 5 years old when a dear friend of mine pulled me out of my depression. And she said to me, "What do you do for self-care?" You got to understand, Abbey now is not Abbey then, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of times people think Abbey's so sweet and adorable. And yes, she is, but that is not where we started. So in the midst of this depression, resentment, lost, bad chunk of years, a friend of mine said, "What do you do for self-care? You get your nails done? Do you go to the movies? Do you go get a glass of wine with a girlfriend? Do you go shopping? What do you do?" And I looked at her like she was crazy. And I said, "I don't do any of those things, and I'm not sure I ever have. When I'm down, I just work harder and feel sadder, and I feel more beaten down." I didn't have an answer to that question. So that time in my life made me start thinking about, what am I doing for myself? My battery is dying. And then what good am I going to be to anyone? I was very filled with resentments. It wasn't fun to be around. And so I ventured, I was invited to a wedding, and I went to the wedding, and my girlfriend paid for me to get my nails done. 3 of us went. And because she paid for it and she took me, I got these nails. I got French tips. And I was taking pictures of my hands and sending them to people. And I couldn't believe that these were my hands, because I had taken care of them and done this indulgent thing. And it began a trajectory of understanding that I had a right to take care of myself and that I was a better person if I did. So that's my nail story.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it is such a takeaway. It's like when and I always go to the plane, but when the masks drop, put yours on first, because we really can't help anyone if we don't feel good. And then that old adage is so accurate. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
True.
But Christine, obviously you were such a big sister to me. And I mean, because if we don't know who the new people are when we first start, but I knew who you were. So I know you kind of took me under your wing, I think even before I knew Nicci. And I was so grateful for it. It's just been such a cool ride from season 2 to season 3 to season 4 for me. But it's just, this season's been different, and we've talked about it, and we don't want to linger on negative stuff, but I know not to jump right in, but I kind of feel like it might be no better place than the present to start, if that's okay, Nicci. It's just, you've had some big news break for Abbey and David, and just like forget the salacious, the scrolls, the Instagram stuff, mom to daughter. How are you helping, guide Abbey through like a first breakup? Or is it her first breakup?
First, I should say it's not her first breakup. The first breakup, I think she just turned 20. It was high school. So she was, I think, a senior in high school. The boy was 1 year younger. So he went to her prom. She went to his prom. And they had a very sweet relationship. It was beautiful to watch. But one of the most painful parts of this, which a lot of people don't know about us, which is some of the people that don't like what I do and think I talk all the time and I'm trying to tell Abbey what to say and how to say it. And I can understand why they think that, but what they're not realizing is that some people with autism have an expressive language disorder. It's not select mutism. It's not the same as a level 1 person where they don't know what to say. They don't know how to read the room which creates a lot of social anxiety. Abby literally cannot get the words out. Her brain is scrambled. So she'll start telling you a story about something that's not about something. It gets all scrambled, and she's very repetitive. She's a Gestalt language processor, so we're always talking about right here, right now. Anyways, that component of her language has been the number one aspect of autism in our lives and in her life, is getting her to be able to have conversations and stay on topic. Anyways, when that end of that like almost 2-year relationship, his mother called me and said that he had a change of heart with Abby and he wanted to take a break from the relationship. And then the mother proceeded to say, after I was just shocked, she said, my son should be able to have a conversation with his girlfriend, and Abby can't do that.
Ouch.
And it was the core of how autism affected her. It was one of the most, I mean, that feeling, like, you know, when someone dumps you as you or whatever, and you get that sick feeling of like everything starts to go in slow motion but I felt that for her, and it was like, I wanted to protect her from that pain so badly. And I truly felt nauseous. Like I lost 10 pounds over that breakup. And she would cry to me and she'd say, why isn't he texting me anymore? And why he told me he'd love me forever. Why did he stop? He lied to me. And for Abby to be able to even say that and process those feelings was huge. And then that was like, so she's 20. So our quest for more conversational language has been my focus since 2020. She's 27 now. And she's still
As a result of like that and like helping her
kick my ass. I'll tell you that. I know how fabulous she is. And I felt like, I guess this is why autism gets confusing. For us, language, actual conversational language, is like our disability within what autism is. And it is a disability. It's not a gift to not be able to express yourself, not be able to have a conversation, not be able to access emotional words. Your brain goes to memories and her Gestalt language processing. So within that one component, I have supported, encouraged her to continue her work in speech. And that is why she's here today, like on the Today Show, having a conversation with Craig. And I'm like, where am I? Like, this is extraordinary. So that's what is possible in autism.
So I just want to pause there because, like, Christine, we did a plot twist. And Nicci shared a moment where she just saw a new behavior in Tanner. And I pointed out Tanner's age. How old is Abby?
27.
27. And I just want to point out there, 27. And Christine is through the hard work, but she's seeing the fruits at 27. I guess I just always like to pause and give our parents nuggets of hope that, you know, even if at 17, they're not where they thought they were, we're still seeing new behaviors at 27.
Yes, 100%.
For sure.
I have learned in these past 7 years that the amount of growth the potential is huge. But the downside is the system doesn't give it to you. There is no system. It is put on the parents. So I believe in growth. For example, I started Abby a year ago in autism therapy at the Ed Asner Center. I asked her if she wanted to go. This is dealing with feelings. This is not a language therapy or a intervention. This is real. How do you feel feelings therapy?
Like emotional therapy.
Right, which we've never done before. And at first I thought it was too hard, but they have experience in autism, so they are able to meet Abby at Abby's level. And they have like the feelings wheel, where you have the 5 emotions, and then from each emotion, it explains another more intricate emotion. And so I got her that pillow, and now she can kind of look at it and get into deeper, more articulation of what she feels.
So wait, there's a wheel that's a pillow?
I can go get it for you. Yes. And I got it.
Yeah. Can you just show, and it's from the Ed Asner Center?
No, I went and bought it online at Amazon. That's where they got it.
And I definitely want to shout out the Ed Asner Center too, if you want, because they're awesome.
Ed Asner Center has been great because it's so specified. They also have a couples counseling for autistic couples, and they have a sex ed class for people who may not have confidence in that area or have questions and feel confused. You know, I'm an old school, like give them all the information and support them as best you can. This is a human experience, like whatever the individual person is seeking or has questions about, you support them as best you can, you know? Anyway, so Abby did that. And I feel like, and she started that last summer. Once again, people kind of don't understand the trajectory of time. within
Right.
these relationships. Abby met David a year before you saw it, because we shot it
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
2021. You saw it in 2022. Here's my emotions pillow. Are you ladies ready?
Yes.
I love this so much. Bye. I'm going to hide. Okay, so you see this?
That is amazing. Yeah.
Well, the
You got
main,
that on Amazon?
well, some people, Amazon. Yeah. And I took one of my pillows and I covered it for her because I wanted to be able to, when she feels upset or dysregulated, she can go to one of these main feelings. So if
Oh
she's
my
sad,
gosh.
for example, look at the trajectory of further feeling worse.
That is so
Okay.
okay. Or add
See,
2 cards.
Can we
Add
like,
2 cards.
I wonder if we can share a link. I don't know. It's just really
get
cool.
you
It's a
one.
nice tool.
I'll
Yeah.
put it on Abby's socials because I think it's up there already. But
Okay,
so
cool.
if she's sad because she feels lonely, she can then further go into abandoned, empty, inferior,
Oh my
vulnerable,
gosh.
more feeling words. You see? So
Wow.
she can further investigate these feelings. Now, Abby is a
Yes.
Gestalt language processor, so she uses memories instead of these words. So when she's upset, she says back to Clubhouse. When she says she's sad, she's Elsa from Frozen.
Right.
She's in
Okay.
isolation. So she goes to the character. Why is that an issue? Accept Abby as she is. That is true. But when I'm dead and no one else speaks Abby, who is going to
Yep.
advocate for Abby?
That's practical mom brain. Yeah. I mean, like someone is going to have to help her.
Right. But I want her to advocate for herself, just like I want her brother, my son Ben, to advocate for himself. I want them to be strong warriors in life, kind, loving people that can take care of themselves. That's how I was raised, and that's how I've lived my life.
Yes.
So I don't like people to feel victim in general. I feel like we're kind of living in a world of what is wrong
Yes.
with me instead of what is right with me. Now, that being
I love
said,
that.
people will say I'm controlling of Abby, I'm a terrible mother, I've done X, Y, and Z, and I'm looking at, okay, what are they seeing, or what is their story to make them feel
Right.
that way? And I understand for their autism, they feel unheard. They've had decades of being misunderstood. Parents didn't understand them. So I kind of get that. But for us, this kind of stuff is what we're still doing at age 27. And guys, I can't even tell you the moments when she has said things to me where I've just turned around and cried to myself, because it's so amazing that she just said X, Y, and Z. I feel this because of that. And so there was so
it's
much
incredible.
growth in her last year. So we shot season 4, last summer.
Yep.
And Abby had been in therapy, and we had hoped that, maybe they could do couples therapy and talk about what is their expectation for each of them in a relationship. Like, what does that mean to you? I mean, that's what relationships are, aren't they? Once you get past the initial fun and games, you got to go, okay,
Right.
what's my life going to be and what do I want? I don't think Abby ever really thought about it. I'm not sure David did either.
Right.
Until this initial couple of years went by of letting them sort of figure out what their groove was going to be. Because, autistic relationships cannot be judged through the neurotypical
Typical
lens.
lens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I am always trying to remember that I have learned not to judge. I mean, it was almost like Boyfriend Forever was sort of written as a tribute to the possibility of just being like my boyfriend. Like, that's why everyone says Abby wanted a ring. And we talked about it, and Abby was like, I want to wear that dress. I want to have that party. I want to feel okay. I want to feel like what other girls feel in relationships, like a princess. So I think
She wanted to be a bride, or to feel like, that's what she was thinking of, the ceremony, right?
Correct. That's right. I actually admire people that own what they want.
I do too. It is admirable to say what you really feel.
Yeah, or just say, I don't want children. I really admire couples that have said, I don't want children.
Me too.
Because I thought, you're owning it. You're owning what you want your life to be. The worst thing is that you just do it because everyone else is doing it.
Right.
You have a kid, and then you just try to do the same little things you always did. I can tell you that is not the way it works.
Not the way to go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like every course of who I thought I was changed after Abby was diagnosed.
Yep.
For sure.
I mean, and I think some people will react to that news differently. Like, they'll do their best, but they don't feel like they're able to swim to dry land because the task is so daunting. And then there's the different kinds and different levels of autism, which also makes the journey so different for all of us. Do you know?
Right.
Abby's a clear,
Absolutely.
I guess you'd call her level 2. But remember, that's not language we used up until she was 15 years old. That was not, there were no levels
Right.
of 1, 2, and 3.
I'm still confused on it too. I mean,
I
like
am too.
I
We
got
never
into
used
where
that.
Connor was diagnosed as Asperger's, but then as he went along, a psychiatrist was like, he's actually a little more affected than Asperger's. I'm trying not to offend people by using the speak of today, but I always don't know if I'm using it correctly.
Me
I know.
either. Yeah.
I'm always saying I'm so sorry if I said it the wrong way, and I really mean that. But what I like
Me
to
too.
share is being on the front lines of interventions. That's when you're looking at what is the support that all people with autism needs, and what a low
Yeah.
support needs, late stage diagnosed person needs is not what Abby needs. So
Right.
to me, that person with a real story and real pain looks at me, they think I'm telling Abby what to say because they don't have any speech delay. They're not Gestalt language processes. They don't think in memories like Abby as language, you know? And so we're fighting, like, it's so sad to me because we should all be coming together and honoring people like my hashtag Abby's autism. Someone wrote, look how selfish Abby's mom is, thinking that Abby's autism is the only autism that exists. And I'm like,
When you're trying to actually
No.
honor somebody else's experience.
Right.
You're doing the
That's flaw.
opposite. Yeah.
So
You're trying
that
to do the
if
opposite.
you're trying to help someone with Abby's kind of autism, maybe there'll be some interest. But if you're like a low support needs person, what I'm doing is not make any sense to you because this is not what I would recommend for you. I think that,
And it's
I wish you could say that again louder for the whole world to. That was so beautifully put the way you said it. Say how you said that again. A low support, late diagnosed person.
The late diagnosed person, the low support needs person, did not need the same interventions as Abby, and I wouldn't
Thank
recommend
you.
it. But what they're hearing is, and this is what I've deduced. I've really listened. I really watch, and some of it is ouch, hurtful. But I still love everybody, and I'm not going to stoop to hate anyone back because I hear everyone's story, and I think that the low support needs community is angry because society is geared towards that difference. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of hurt. The school system is set for one type of learner. And
they feel maybe misunderstood. Yeah.
Misunderstood, not just by their school system, by their teachers, by the way they're tested, but also by their parents and their families, because they're
not seen.
able to fit in enough to get by. But that difference is the disconnect. For some people with autism, they love their early memory TV shows. Let's face it, Sesame Street's a big one. You know, Barney and
Connor
Friends.
gets triggered. Yeah.
Abby's triggered now by those shows. This
Same
is
with
what's
Connor.
interesting. Those shows trigger her in such a negative way because it reminds her of being in that brain back then. She's so connected. So for Abby, but you know, she loves
that's
Hannah
interesting.
Montana and Lion King still. And I've talked to her about it. I said, why are those shows different than those other more younger shows? She says it was because it was a different time in her life. And those memories are better.
That's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
It's so funny because I just went through this with Connor. We cannot talk about VeggieTales and we love VeggieTales or Teletubbies or anything that his whole first birthday was themed Teletubbies.
Right.
And if I even go like Tinky Winky, like he'll lose it. I don't know. It brings him to a place in time and feelings that he doesn't like to feel. I don't think he's ever concisely said it like Abby, but there is a visible switch in his demeanor if we bring it up.
That is so fascinating. You see, Tanner's very comforted by them. He still likes to go back to that and finds it very like a zone out. It's almost like a treat to himself if he's had a lot going on.
Here's the interesting thing, and I feel like this could help our level 2 population, is that I put Abby in the Gestalt language processing speech 2 years ago. We did it on Zoom.
Right.
And in that, we found out that she is triggered by old memories, by events that shut off her smart brain. She talks about this and lets her emotional and survival brain take over, which means dysregulation, which means now she's in a spin. It's old memories, it's old thoughts, it's panic, it's anxiety. Right. not in the room anymore. And so what we learned was her preferred sensory inputs turn on that smart brain and brings her back to being regulated. Okay. So she's all over the court. She's having a real hard time focusing. And I turn to her now and I say, what do you need to do? And she says, use my strategies. And I say, what strategies? And she says, auditory input. And then I say, what auditory input? And she says her number one favorite, get me back to regulation sound, which is the old dial-up modem sound.
Modem, yeah.
Yes. That sound is
crazy.
her number one preferred happy sound that will literally bring her back. It's car alarms, church bells, and ringtones. So you can see I'm like at night working, all of a sudden I'm hearing all these ringtones and I have to remind myself that's just Abbey in her room.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Connor was a toe walker when he was younger. He did a lot of things. But, even now I've noticed, just traveling with him yesterday, I mean, we were waiting in line to get back through customs and he got so deep into trying to regulate himself. He started doing delayed echolalia from a show. And there was an older man traveling with a little boy who was probably 6 or 7 in front of us. And Connor said he was just trying to calm himself down. We were in a tight situation. And he started to do the lines. He was whispering them, but he went, oh, fudge. Like whatever scene, I don't know what. And the little boy whipped his head and tugged his dad's arm. And I had to grab Connor and I was like, buddy. He's like, I said fudge.
Right.
And, but I'm just saying it's like, even in those situations, I don't, like Connor appeared really like inappropriate in front of he looked like he was saying the F word.
yeah.
Right.
And the little boy was upset and the father turned around and looked at me and I've got this man next to me.
It's so hard.
It's hard. So it's like, even though you'd be amazed if you saw Connor on a regular basis, the support that he still does need.
That's the interesting part about Love on the Spectrum is that, and I've said this to people, which is why it's hard to get, like, let Abbey go live on her own. Someone said Abbey and David didn't get married because Abby's mother blocked it.
I know.
And I'm like, are you kidding
Look
me?
at Christine.
I was like, are you kidding me? They were the most generous, lovely couple. That would have been great, but it's Abby's ability to express herself. But Love on the Spectrum is first about love and then about autism. And I was talking to you before about the Boyfriend Forever song, which was what you didn't see in season 3, and I really wanted them to show Abby's language struggles and how she needs help with, we call prompting, which is the organization of a story. I feel blank because, and you'll see me use like template words when I'm prompting her. Like I'll say, I feel, why am I saying that? So we use these kind of words, not memories. Get her right on that so she can advocate. I feel blank. Then I go, because I'm going right to the explanation. Just that one word, because, lets her figure out what is the connection to that feeling. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. And I really wanted them to show a speech therapy session about how we were learning about the smart brain and her memories. Why? Because she spoke memories a lot to David. And David didn't like it. That was really hard for him because it gets pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
So I think Abbey thought if she could get her language better, if she could keep working on it, that then David might want to take a step closer to her. So I think there was a window of her trying to work on that language, totally Autism 101 type of stuff, that then maybe he would be able to take a step closer to her. And so you didn't see that in season 3 because the show's really
There's
not
so many things in this autistic relationship that, and so with David's autism and the way it presents, it was probably hard for him to receive the way, there's just so many layers. And you're right, Christine, it's not shown.
And that part of it isn't shown. So then the audience they get a component of the relationship, but they don't see the other side. And isn't that true on pretty much everyone's Instagram? Everyone looks gorgeous. Everyone has, hair and
Makes
makeup.
nails.
Nobody has a runny nose and is crying on Instagram. Well,
Right.
some people are actually, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a
but they're going after a different thing there. Yeah.
I think there was an energy of Abby's self-discovery of her own autism that was in that relationship. And thanks to David, she was able to understand herself better. So even though that relationship didn't work out, as I've said before, I'm so grateful that having her grow in this one, have a sort of uncoupling, if you would, with this one, it was just so great. And even though it wasn't the fairy tale ending that we typical people wanted, there's so much good that came out of it. And I'm so grateful to the show for finding a person that had such a deep special interest connection. Right. That was amazing.
And they had they did have a lot of good times and a lot of great memories.
Amazing memories. Yeah. And I feel the same way. Like for Tanner, it didn't end in love, but it was an incredible journey of maturity and self-discovery. Right. And being able to have such an improvement in expressive communication and talk about how he does feel and stating things and self-advocating, it was huge. It's a tremendous jump from 2024 to 2026. Yeah. So definitely worth it.
And maybe Tanner realizing like, hey, I'm good without a woman in my life right now. This is not the time for me. Yeah.
And like for us, I think for Tanner, I don't think it's that he's never going to want it or that he's not capable of it. I think he's truly not ready, but he didn't know until he gave it a whirl. He didn't realize he wasn't ready until he had the opportunity to try. So it's been an amazing journey of self-discovery. Same, I feel like, for Abbey.
That's all positive. It's been a little bit hard.
It is.
With the media kind of part of this. I like to say for us, I don't think I would have ever applied to this show if I knew what it was, because people forget they found us. We had nothing to do with applying. There was no application. Abbey they were scouting for people for their little show, which no one knew what it was. And they came to Abbey's music program. And they had told the kids that some guy was doing some sort of dating, documentary. And Abbey just bolted out of the room as soon as the class was over. And Keon was like, wait. She said, gotta go. And she just bolted out. So Abbey.
I love that girl.
Called the program, got our number, and I literally, there was no word love on the spectrum at that point. There was nothing. There was no network. It was just a guy doing a documentary. For all I knew, it could have been shown at his, family home.
A one and done
we don't
hour episode.
Nothing. Yeah. So we did a Zoom from Australia. We did one, and then we did another one. And I think we might have even done a third one, like 3 different types of Zooms. Abbey wasn't even familiar with Zoom at the time because it was the pandemic. They were going to start shooting it earlier, but the pandemic shut everything down. And so I've said this before, but my favorite moment was, and again, we didn't know what it was, so we didn't really care about pleasantries or anything formal. But at one point he said, can I talk to Abbey? Because I was just sitting next to her. And I said, sure. I said, I'm going to be in the other room. And she starts to talk to him, and I sort of can hear it. I can't. I'm a little worried because of the reciprocal language. Like, remember, she has autism. Yep. She just, all of a sudden in the middle of it, stopped and looked over to the other room, like leaning, and said, Mom, how come when you're driving, you call everyone an asshole? Out of nowhere.
She did not.
Yeah.
In the middle of a Zoom with Keon.
In the middle of the Zoom with Keon. Now, I don't know who he is. So I'm thinking it's like a job interview. I'm thinking a little more professional here. And I said, Abigail.
That's so funny.
I don't really call her Abigail. Abigail, this is a professional interview, and I'm off camera. Let's focus on the questions that this man is asking you. Because of course I was totally called out. Like,
that's so funny.
So, Christine, because you brought this up, and I think it's a good segue to another question that we had, is like the media this time, and like you were like, hey, I might not would have, I wouldn't have applied, or now that we know, how are you as a family been included and handling some of the false narratives that we see out there that are created, like, the AI nuts that I'm seeing.
Scary.
It's crazy stuff that we're seeing out there. How are you as a family coping, including Ben and, Mary is Abby's help support family member, but how are you all doing with that?
I mean, it's been really hard. It's, sometimes people think that we asked for this because we signed up
Yeah.
for this show and we deserve every ounce of hatred we get. And that's
scrutiny.
not true. We did not sign up for this. And please remember, season 1 and 2, none of y'all had heard of this show. It was season 3
Right.
that y'all realized what it was. So the first 2 years were absolutely beautiful. They were. Keon is like a fly on the wall. He is so not visible to you. So Abby is so authentically herself. I think at this point, to kind of see the beautiful, 85% love fest that it is, has been so wonderful. And I have thicker skin now because remember, we started on TikTok and Instagram before Love on the Spectrum even aired.
Right.
I've been working for many, many years in a cancer nonprofit. That's my career. And I've been doing this like as my second life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm on something, right? And so it's hurtful to think that, you're glomming on for attention and you did it because you want likes and views. And you're like,
Or you want to exploit your kid and make money from your kid. Like,
and it's the opposite of what they think they're doing.
It really is.
You're hurting these people with autism. Abby is so much more accepting of her own autism. And I'd like to say that when people recognize her, she's almost more excited about the fan than the fan is. Like Abby will scream, and she's done this many times. Oh my God, I have a fan. Mom, look, I have a fan.
Yeah.
She's pulling at the person. Anyone that's met Abby knows, unless she's trying to eat something, then you all bets are off.
Yeah.
But it's been a beautiful thing. So it's a surprise and it's a disappointment because the show, as we know, as it has for me, made me laugh, cry, and feel alive as a person, sharing a connection, looking at my own behavior. Like, I'll be really honest with you, like seeing the differences in both of your children and loving them for their core souls is something I acknowledge.
And is Ben, and Abby's older brother, is he okay? Is he just like, hey, like Teflon, is he okay?
He's my tough warrior man, and he guides me a lot. He just says, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, and welcome to the internet. I mean, he keeps
That's
me
my
strong.
daughter, Anna. Yeah.
Strong. Because, I said, I just don't like having stuff made up about us. And so shame on them.
I know we've all learned so much and we've all grown and we've all matured and we've all gotten stronger for sure. But Christine, in your mind, what would you say is next for you as yourself, not just Christine, Abby's mom, and for Abby? Like, what do you project the next 2 to 5 years to hold for y'all?
Well, I love calling myself an autism advocate. And one of my personal goals as me is to bring the autism community together. Like, if the DSM-5 has to call what Abby has something different than the low support needs, then do it. Whoever gets that word, because we're not helping people. We're not creating the supports for low support needs people. We're not changing the education system. We should be. So all of those pieces, I feel very passionate about, helping to advocate for educational change and, speaking and all that kind of stuff. So we're getting heavily into that kind of stuff. We call ourselves autism advocates, and we want to keep doing that. And I think for Abby, it's that plus her music. We love what she's doing. And we're looking to see if maybe she wants to do some touring, and she's working really hard with a vocal coach. And we have a song coming out called Right Here, Right Now, which will be on her YouTube channel, probably by the end of the month.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That's so exciting. So Abby's pursuing the music and what about you, Christine, just with the advocacy? Is there anything that you guys might do together or just kind of wherever the road
we're
winds?
actually trying to work on a live performance, like a live show that we tour with.
Oh,
that's
that'd
kind
be
of
so
about,
cool.
I don't want to say it's about us, but sort of about us, but more about Abby, her autism, and then helping the audience have a good laugh, learn about autism, and we have some surprises for them in this 90-minute show that we're going to try and do probably next year. I'm a perfectionist, so I want the show to be amazing and great with like music and storytelling and then some surprises. So we want to do that. And speaking engagements, I'm getting a lot more into like panel discussions and trying to really bring the community together. The people that have a very different, what I call internalized autism, because that
Yes.
tells me what's going on for that person. It doesn't mean it's any less important. And that's my takeaway message. A lot of times people feel like when I'm talking about that's my lived experience. I know a lot of
Right.
people on the low support end. I'm trying to help them. Because the supports are different and the experience is different, one is not more or less important than the other.
Right.
Hear what she's saying, people.
Please.
This is coming from Christine Romeo. Hear this.
And it's my goal to keep working and helping people that might look at me and say, oh, you have it easy, or whatever the judgment is.
Right.
To say, let's stop and talk, because I bet we have a lot more in common than you think.
Yes, I love that.
My main thing is all of the energy of negativity. If we pulled all that negativity together and we go, we're going to change it so that no kid suffers like you did in regular high school, in junior high. No, the parents now can understand your neurodiversity better. Employers, HR, we can create stuff. We can make it and actually advocate for change so that no one suffers for them. I feel like in my advocacy is I don't want other parents to go through what I went through. I mean, this has not been an easy journey, and it's not the life I ordered. I obligatorily said, yes, I will follow through on this commitment, but doesn't mean I was happy doing it for many years. I am now, but it was a lot. So coming together, working together, and honoring each other's experience instead of fighting about it. I never meant to say to anyone on the spectrum that their difference is less important than Abby's deficit.
Right.
Because Abby's learning to talk. That is a big deal. As opposed to someone who has like learning to manage their sensory issues. And they should have support for that. That's such a big thing to deal with in life. Yeah.
And one thing I've always admired about you, Christine, is how gracious and kind you are with your critics and the way you have made such a point to reach out and pull them in rather than pushing back. I think I would actually love to do that. I would love to talk to people who
think you should.
don't.
I think, get some people that don't understand. This is what I say about my haters, which Abby loves to point out that I have, because she doesn't really have any.
I know she does talk about your haters.
Publicly quite a bit. And I would like them to just say, would you be willing to meet Abby? Would you be willing to see Abby uncensored, trying to have a conversation? Would you be willing to learn about this level 2 person? And in return,
I love that.
I want to hear your 3 top supports that you need that you don't have right now. Like, I can guess what I think, and I've dealt with actually one kid who's severely ADHD. He's not even on the spectrum. And I watched how crippling his ADHD was in his work life. And he graduated from college, but it was painful to watch. And I really watched how he couldn't process certain things. He's functioning, he's in the world, he went to college, but it was crippling for him. Social anxiety, doesn't have a single friend. And like, how can we bring people together and create communities that are like-minded so they can support each other?
Right.
You know,
and if that's all it really takes is communication. If we would all just look at each other as the unique, special situations that we all have and genuinely extend grace and say, I don't know what they've been through or where they came from because I haven't lived their life. If we could just do that and say it kindly, imagine what we could do.
And instead of being negative and sitting in negativity, let's go to solution. One of my favorite things. All
solution thinking.
Keyboard warriors, all that energy doesn't do anything. It's just negative energy. Guess what? You get what you think.
Yep.
You get what you think and what you project.
Yep.
So you're creating a cycle for yourself. Try to do something different. And I say this with love because I was one of those people. I spent many years just being bitchy and angry, and I hated everything. I couldn't do it. I had to figure out how to make money. My kids were little. I was getting a divorce. Abby was diagnosed. I literally hated everything. So I know what it's like to feel like life has dealt you a bad hand. But I dug myself out of that hole, and I want others to feel the same no matter what's going on.
You're amazing, Christine.
You are amazing.
So we will be on the lookout for some new songs from Abby, some speaking from you.
Speaking engagements,
speaking panels,
maybe a tour
advocacy.
next year.
And then
hey, I want to come to that show.
I'm coming.
Better. Front row seats for both of you ladies.
Heck yes, sis. Bring us. Christine, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us again. And I don't know what we'd do without you, sis, for real.
I
Well,
know.
I
Thank you
just
for all
love
the
all
advice
of
and
you.
support.
And you guys are warriors, both of you making such incredible change. And I love what you do for your sons, and I love what you do in your advocacy.
Oh,
And I love this
thank
podcast.
you. Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Thanks,
You're
Christine.
so great.
Bye.
Genuinely is like a big sister, trusted, confident moment. I mean, I just always feel like, I always get some pearl of wisdom from Christine. And I would really encourage our listeners, go check out Christine's YouTube channel. She is a teacher. She is a natural born teacher. She has so much valuable information. She's done so much research. Go listen to her. She can help you. She has a lot to share with people. And I find her to be fascinating.
I do
and
too.
I so admire the amount of time she has spent
And
researching.
she's taken some criticisms, and she's still up there smiling and doing her thing
Exactly.
for everybody. And I love her for it. That's
yes.
amazing.
And trying to do good for people and really trying to connect this community so that we can all be stronger together. I love her.
Well, I just wanted to say I'm wearing an Atlanta United jersey today because Connor is invited. It's kind of a big thing at the Atlanta United game here at the Mercedes-Benz. Connor's getting to hit the golden spike tonight. It's a big honor. It's fun. Incredible for this little hometown hero. And, that should have been my plot twist is, Nicci, the young man who never had friends or invitations
now
or anything and who was bullied is now got a huge invitation tonight. So we're supporting Atlanta United tonight, and I gotta go. But Nicci, thank you so much. This was a fun
I'm so
episode.
glad we got this one in. It was.
Loved having Christine.
The best.
We hope you guys enjoyed it. And like we always say, Nicci, we love you, mean it.
Okay, guys, we cannot end this episode without doing a very special business shout out. Tanner and I were in Connecticut last week to visit the Vineyard Vines headquarters for the collab he and Trent Landreth are doing to give back to Best Buddies. And while we were there, we had the immense pleasure of visiting Sweet Pea Bakery. Sweet Pea Bakery is a bakery in Connecticut that was founded with the intention of employing special needs people. They started very small. They now have 12 employees, and Tanner and I got to have a personalized tour. They are wonderful, wonderful people. And one thing that I was so impressed with, they don't do anything automated because their philosophy is everything is a job. And if we automate any piece of this process, we are taking a job from a human hands. So it is just a lovely, warm, precious place. And the P all around the bakery inside, they have all these different words with the letter P capitalized wherever that letter falls in the words. And it's all these things that you can be or do. Just amazing, empowering words everywhere. So their founder, Andrea, wrote this little synopsis of Sweet Pea Bakery. Sweet Pea Bakery began with a simple but powerful idea that adults with disabilities deserve meaningful work opportunities and that our community would be stronger if we built a place where they could learn skills, gain confidence, and feel included. At Sweet Pea, we don't just create jobs, we create community. Sweet Pea Bakery was launched in 2019 with the mission of creating meaningful job opportunities for adults with disabilities in the baking industry. We believe that every parent wants the same for their child. Here's the P's: to have a sense of purpose, find their passion, be a productive member of their community, and to reach their full potential. All the wonderful P words represented by the P in Sweet Pea Bakery. Since we launched, we've trained and employed 19 adults with disabilities, each one bringing their own story of growth, confidence, and pride. Today, our team bakes thousands of cookies each week that are sold wholesale, shipped nationwide, and even served in iconic places like Yankee Stadium. Our cookies compete with the best in the country, and I can personally vouch and say that they are delicious because I sampled about 5 varieties and they were amazing. Every cookie produced by Sweet Pea Bakery represents something much bigger than a delicious treat. It represents meaningful work for someone who might otherwise be overlooked. When you enjoy one of our cookies, you're investing in someone's future and in a community that values inclusion. Every cookie sold translates directly into hours of paid employment. And y'all, they are wonderful. The product is wonderful. The people are wonderful. The idea and concept is wonderful. it is truly an amazing thing. So they have a website. Check out Sweet Pea, just the letter capital P, Bakery. And if you're ever in Yankee Stadium, for sure, buy one of their cookies. They are amazing.
Pioneer.